Welcome to The Arts Are the Answer, a co-production of the Arts Council for Monterey County and Access Monterey Peninsula. I'm Steve Elzey, the executive producer for AMP.
And I'm Paulette Lynch, Executive Director of the Arts Council for Monterey County. We are so excited about this brand new program. Each month we'll bring you in-depth interviews, event highlights, and insider info on the arts in our beautiful region. This is your area and this is your show. Get involved. We welcome sponsors, volunteers, and guests. Visit us at artsformc.org/answer to find out more.
Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to introduce you to artists, arts organizations, and others who are making wonderful things happen in our region through the arts. We have with us Paola Berthoin with Passion for Place Project, Tim Jackson from the Monterey Jazz Festival, and Lisa Casino from the Museum of Monterey. We'll also share highlights of upcoming arts events and more.
And it all starts right now. I am so lucky to be here today with Paola Berthoin. She is a wonderful artist. She does mixed media and painting and photographs and illustration, and she's an incredible leader in our community in getting everyone to understand about our environment. Her special passion right now is for the Carmel River and the Carmel River watershed, and she's with us today to talk about a passion for place. And she's going to tell us more about it. Paola, thank you so much for coming in today.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to share about this Passion for Place project.
And can you tell us, first of all, how did you ever get started on such a big project?
Well, in 2004, it was a project that we wanted to begin when I was part of Rising Leaf Watershed Arts. It's not something that we could begin at that time, but in 2009, I was in the river and I was painting, and the river was actually drying up in that area, and I decided, you know, now is the time to do this book, to bring something that is positive to the community about the river, so that people can see a slightly different perspective about the river that is artistic in nature, instead of it just being a political football.
Yeah, that's so great. It's so important, I know, for people to understand and to actually love the river and everything about it in order to carry that same sense of urgency that this is important to us and we need to protect it. Do you think that's the, one of the things I was really amazed by is all the number of people that you've brought to this project and the commitment they must have. Did they have the same kind of sense of urgency that you did, do you think?
I feel so, and especially with the writings, that really comes forward in terms of how people have shared their love for the river, for the land, for the animals, for the plants, their connection and what that brings to their lives. And what it brings to their lives living in Carmel Valley, but also how when they might be affected by outward events, you know, around the world, how the land and the river brings something to their lives to feel grounded.
Well, we're so lucky you're willing to do all this, and I understand we have some clips. People can see the details of the project and what's in there, what they might be able to see on their own. So let's.
Through art about the natural world, we as human beings can help support a cultural shift in how we live in the world on this earth. Creativity in its greatest depths of the human psyche and genetic coding emerges from the wildness of the natural world. When we allow wildness, our own spirit, to flourish within, we can also respect and allow nature's spirit, the wild outside, to exist. We intrinsically understand we are part of the land and the rivers, and that the natural world supports us in body, mind, and soul. I'm Paola Berthoin, and I'm working on the book project Passion for Place, Community Reflections on the Carmel River Watershed. Passion for Place is a bioregional project with a global vision. Stories have the power to connect us to each other, and stories of the land and rivers connect us to what sustain us all, wherever we live. Wherever we live on Earth, we all live in a watershed, from the mountaintop ridges to the city streets and all the land in between. Around the world, rivers are stressed beyond their capacities. Every year, the national organization American Rivers, based in Washington, D.C., names 10 rivers in the United States that are most endangered. In 1999, the Carmel River was one of those 10 rivers named due to the excessive water extraction and the resulting habitat degradation that endangered and threatened species depend on, specifically the Carmel River steelhead and the red-legged frog. Passion for Place shares the beauty of the Carmel River and watershed through people's stories, essays, and poems. Drawings by Pamela Takagawa and Anne Green and my paintings and photographs will accompany the text. The stories, poems, and essays written by 36 community members are organized from the top of the watershed, where the Carmel River begins, through the valley, and out to the ocean. In addition, a CD of natural sounds combined with excerpts from interviews of 8 community members will complete the anthology, taking the reader on a virtual experience of the Carmel River watershed. Passion for Place is a prototype for people in other communities, encouraging them to become engaged in stories of their rivers and watersheds. When we drink water from a specific watershed for 7 days, we become that watershed. Closest to home, our bodies have their own watershed with its arterial river system cleansing it of impurities. When we live together with a watershed consciousness, we come to understand more clearly how our actions affect the greater whole. Imagine how life and business could be different if more and more people around the world became immersed in their home watershed in this way. Rivers are the connecting force in all our lives. By perceiving ourselves as part of the watershed, we take care of the watershed as a whole. By being a part of Passion for Place, you will be helping spread the word about how creativity and caring for the natural world, rivers and oceans, can help shift people's awareness around the world, living more in harmony with each other, all animals, and ecological systems of the earth.
Paola, that was absolutely stunning. Thank you so much for bringing all that to us. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your great work. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to share about this project. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm an artist, and when I don't do my art, I'm not myself. My horse, Kobazan, he's been a muse since I started painting realism, and he drove me to paint realism. He was a very beautiful horse, and so he really inspired me to paint his beauty. Not just his soul, but truly his physical beauty. I had an accident with him at the ranch where he fell on me, and I was alone in a field, and he was unconscious on top of me, and I was unconscious under him. Remember making a pact with God that if I made it, that what I asked for, what I really wanted more than anything else, was to be able to continue with my artwork. I always am seeing my next subject matter in these animals. I love painting in this way so much, and I see so many paintings, future paintings, in my mind as I sleep at night. And as I walk, I get inspired by seeing particular animals. I get so much pleasure and deep satisfaction when I hear from people how my paintings move them and how it reaches them. A lot of folks who they like to talk to me about the fact they're not animal people, and yet my painting, they want to live with one of my paintings, or they want to come see one of my shows. My whole life is spent either rescuing animals or trying to preserve habitat for animals or doing paintings of animals. Or living with them and just thoroughly enjoying them as family members. But yeah, my husband and I I've worked for about 12 years in Monterey County, advocating for really strong policies to protect habitat, especially specifically here in Elkhorn Slough. And of course the Arts Council is so important, and I believe so much in the education of the youth, especially in the schools, if possible, keeping it in the schools, the art, because art balances everybody. I do believe that everybody needs some creative outlet in their lives, no matter how talented they are in other fields like mathematics or computer science, whatever. A little bit of art truly balances all of that out, and I think it's key.
One of the greatest things about our region is the museums and galleries we have here that are so high quality, international caliber, and yet they're on an intimate scale that we love so well. We have many people who are willing to be a part of everything that we're doing here because they love the region too. And I have here with me today Lisa Casino, who's the executive director of the Museum of Monterey. Lisa, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you, Paulette, for having me.
And can you tell us, you have a wonderful tagline. What is that again?
It's history, arts, innovation, and maritime.
And I know you include it all, but it's the innovation part that is especially exciting for me. Can you tell us what are you doing these days that really speaks to that?
Well, currently we have an exhibition up that explores the 1967 Monterey Pop Festival, and it's extremely media-driven. We have 7 video monitors, we have 4 HP touchscreens, and right now we're installing a black light, an interactive black light poster room where well, I can't give it all away right now, but it would be great for everybody to come and visit, where you can go into an environment and experience the 60s and the 70s and all its wonderful psychedelia.
And I understand that we have some clips from is it your first exhibition?
Yes.
And I just want to thank you so much for your leadership, Lisa. You're just a musician and bringing people in from all over who are willing to be a part of your great ideas.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. I think our museum is in a really cool, unique situation where we have a theater and we have exhibition space. And the clip that you're going to look at involved using both spaces. Brandon Boyd from Incubus came. He was an artist that participated in our first exhibition, Flows to Bay, and that was about consumerism, plastics in the ocean, and he's an activist in every sense of the word. And the clip you're going to watch is an evening that he shared with us, and he came and talked and did a big presentation and showed some films, and we had 450 amazingly beautiful young people listen to every word he had to say and go home thinking they could change the world just a little bit.
And they can.
And they can, one disposable plastic at a time.
Thank you so much.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brandon Boyd, and we are here tonight in Monterey, California, for the Flows to Bay exhibit. Basically, it was my attempt to raise more awareness to a very important situation concerning plastics in our world's oceans. When will I get mine? It started with the smaller drawings on the side of the wall here, and that's really the only style I know how to do. It's pen and ink, and I'd never done a mural before, and so another one of the reasons that it was an interesting opportunity for me was because my friends over at Early said, maybe you could do a mural in our gallery H-Space in Costa Mesa. So I was immediately intrigued, but also kind of frightened at the prospect of having the first mural I ever attempt be something that's so looked at a lot. That knowledge that many people will see or hear the things that you do presents an interesting challenge in the process of writing a song or painting a picture, doing a mural, whatever it is you're doing, because it ends up being a kind of noise, an external noise that can inform the process. What I've always tried to do is tune out all of the noise and listen to more of a singular thing that's going on. And I don't really know what that thing is. I think that's probably what's interesting about the process of creativity, is that you're trying to pay attention to something that doesn't have a recognizable face or name or place, location. It exists somewhere, and you're kind of borrowing from it and pulling from it and amassing something. I've always felt like it's a small shift that needs to occur. The hard part is that there are so many of us, and so it's a small shift that needs to occur in the right amount of people. And it sort of seems like once the right amount of people make that shift, and everybody kind of makes that shift. But hence the need for artists to put their focus in important areas. If there was one thing that I would want people to take away from this, is just that bit of information that they might not have had before. They could walk in, see something, like it, not like it, whatever. They can walk out having a little piece of something they didn't have before. I really feel like that's what all any of us can do on a day-to-day level, is just plant those seeds around and nurture them a little bit and hope that they grow into something. So that's really what this is.
That was awesome video, Lisa. Thank you so much. And did you say there's a time that's special for the community to come and see the museum?
Yes, we have free Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of every month.
Free?
It's free. From 3 to 7, we're open late.
Okay.
And if you're visiting the Farmers Market in Monterey and you just keep walking down the path a little farther, we're at Custom House Plaza. And again, it's a great time for the community, and we always have a historian on site on free Tuesdays. So it's a great time to learn about Monterey.
This is wonderful. Thanks again, Lisa.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Paulette.
Tim, tell us a little bit about the booking process for the festival and the artists that are going to be there this year.
Well, I have to admit, it's a fun process. I've had the good fortune of being the artistic director since, for 20 years now. So basically, I try and get a mix. People are there for the whole weekend. It's a festival environment. You want to get a little bit of everything, from the major jazz stars to the up-and-coming new people in the music, so that people are getting a full kind of 31 flavors, if you will, of the jazz music world. This year's is no exception, and we have some grand masters with us, particularly Tony Bennett, the great vocalist, Jack DeJohnette, the drummer, who was just named a National Endowment for the Arts, Jazz Master. There'll be a couple of our featured artists. We've got some real stalwarts, like Pat Metheny will be with us. Eddie Palmieri. We've got some new artists like the great young singer Melody Gardot, along with Esperanza Spalding, and a great Saturday afternoon program with Trombone Shorty and Robert Randolph and his family band.
Fantastic.
So, and that's just in the arena. We have a whole other area, our grounds venues. We have a total of 9 venues total. So out on the grounds, you'll hear a lot of these same artists, plus many, many other groups. We've got Chester Thompson, we've got Larry Goldings, we've got McLeod Hidero, a lot of interesting names. Tierney Sutton, who has a great new record out. And these artists, again, kind of span generations. They spanned geographies from local and regional artists to national and international artists as well.
Now, Tim, this year the commission piece is being done by Bill Frisell, but I understand it was done a little bit differently than in the past. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would say it evolved a little bit differently. I'd wanted to work with Bill for a number of years. He's an excellent guitarist and a real genius at tone and sonic textures. So I invited him, and he agreed to be this year's commission artist, where they write a new piece and premiere it at the festival. And then I got a phone call from my friend Lana Weeks from the Big Sur Land Trust about wondering if I had any ideas or how we could collaborate on using their Glen Devon Ranch facility, which is a beautiful ranch that they now own, the Big Sur Land Trust down in Big Sur. And so the idea evolved of Bill doing a residency down there so that he could write his commission piece on the ranch. So we worked it out where Bill spent 10 days on the ranch, just solitary confinement, which he was quite happy about, just writing music and communing with nature, and he really had a transformative experience. We saw him at the end of the retreat. I'd given him my phone number. I said, Bill, if you need anything, call me. I'd never heard from him. I thought, I hope he's okay, and he just told me he had an incredible time and wrote some great music. So the piece is going to be a real reflection of his visit to Glen Devon Ranch, and they're going to rehearse the piece. He's got a 5-piece group total that'll be performing the work, and they're going to come in a few days early before the festival. We're going to take them all down to Glen Devon, and they're going to rehearse down there so that the band will have the same flavor and get some of the same impact that the beauty of the ranch imparts onto the music. So we're really looking forward to it, and it was great to have the community collaboration with the Land Trust.
Absolutely. Tim, Tony Bennett, Esperanza Spalding, and Trombone Shorty are all returning for their second highly anticipated appearance. Tell us about those artists.
Well, I'm just happy that all three of them are coming back. They've all had recent great success at Monterey Jazz Festival, so it'll be great to have them back. In Tony Bennett's case, he made his first and only appearance at Monterey in 2005, and it was an absolutely superlative performance. It was a beautiful, beautiful evening. So he's looking forward to coming back, and we're looking forward to having him even more. He's obviously an American master, and just it's kind of the perfect artist for a large outdoor festival like this. The two younger artists, Esperanza and Trombone Shorty, with Shorty, I think it was 2 years ago he was at the festival and gave really one of the most transcendent performances I've ever seen there. I mean, I've never seen a Saturday afternoon audience just go, they just levitated. He's an electrifying young performer. He's got a band that's just outstanding. They're from New Orleans, so they have that real sense of tradition in their music, that real sense of groove, and they put it together with a lot of traditional New Orleans soul behind it, but with just a real contemporary edge. So what he's doing now, I think, is just really kind of at the forefront of the new New Orleans style.
You might meet on your way down, down, down. You might meet on your way down, down, down. You might meet on your way down, down, down.
Having Shorty come back, I think he's going to be a real crowd pleaser. And with Esperanza Spalding, 3 years ago she made her Monterey debut, and last year she was voted Best New Artist at the Grammy Awards. She has a brand new record out called Radio Music Society, and is in the midst of a national and a European tour. Well, she's in Europe right now and will be doing a national tour in a few weeks. So A very dynamic young artist, bass player, vocalist, writer, arranger, producer. So she's just a serious young musician. So she'll be on Sunday afternoon, and I think that she'll just bring the house down.
I know that you know, but sing it again. I love you, baby. Nothing will take you away. You already know, but sing it again. I love you, baby. Nothing will take you away. I wait for you to open up. It's not a bar. You're just what I've been looking for. Why don't you keep your head in the sand? Well, no, you love me for me, that friend. There's nothing like me. Nothing like me. Nothing like.
Tim, going on to the future, the festival has its third National Artist Tour coming up in 2013. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure, Steve. Back in 2005, we had our 50th anniversary. So a couple of years before that, we started looking at ways to kind of maximize that historic event, because there's only one other festival that's older than Monterey, and that's the Newport Festival, which was founded in 1954. We were founded in 1958. And one of the ideas was to create a national tour where we would put together a Monterey Jazz Festival all-star band of artists that had affiliations with the Monterey Jazz Festival and histories with the festival, put them together in kind of a jazz supergroup, if you will, put a repertoire of music together that was reflective of Monterey values, and send them out on the road. So we did that for our 50th anniversary tour. We were on a 10-week national tour, played over 50 dates during that time. It was phenomenally successful. We had James Moody, Benny Green, who was our musical director, Terrence Blanchard, Nina Freelon, and a couple of other folks. So we did the tour again in 2008 with a completely different group with Kenny Barron, Regina Carter, Russell Malone, Kurt Elling, and a couple of others. Also a very successful tour. That tour was about 6 weeks, toured over 40 dates throughout the country. So we've kind of have a pattern now of every 3 years or so, we'll put together a group, take it out on the road. We've got people we work with who book the tours and who produce the tour. And this year, or not this year, but early next year, we'll start a new tour in January of about close to 50 dates that will include a group with Christian McBride, our musical director, bass player, who will be with us at the festival. Actually, this whole group will be performing this year at the festival. So we'll have Christian McBride, who's our musical director, on bass, Dee Dee Bridgewater on vocals. Benny Green will be back again on piano. Lewis Nash on drums. Ambrose Akinmusiri, who is will be on trumpet and is also our artist in residence for this year, and the great tenor saxophonist Chris Potter. So it's truly an all-star group, and again, this group will be making its worldwide debut this year at the festival. They'll be playing both on the grounds Saturday night and Sunday night in the arena to close the festival. And they'll be, again, preparing for the tour, which will kick off in mid-January of 2013.
Well, that sounds so wonderful. And first of all, congratulations on 20 years of masterful direction, artistic direction of the festival, Monterey Jazz Festival. We are all so proud of it, and we all look forward to it. And thank you so much for sharing the great video clips with us and this information, and for taking time out of your schedule to come down and visit with us. We really appreciate it, Tim.
Well, we appreciate the support, Steve. The Monterey Jazz Festival is a very special institution. I felt very fortunate to be involved with it over the years and to work with such great artists, and actually to be able to utilize, we have such wonderful music and video in our archives, which we keep up at Stanford University, so it's great to be able to share that a little bit with the public.
Well, that's it for this episode of The Arts Are the Answer.
But it's just the beginning of our whole series, and we want you to get involved. Please visit us at artsformc.org/answer.